It is game number 7 of the 2002 high school football season. Tonight it's a battle for first place in the Suburban League as the top two teams in the league, the visiting Green Bulldogs and the Wadsworth Grizzlies, look to become the only team with an unblemished record in conference play. Hi again, everybody. John Bernard and Larry Varner with you on just another unpleasant Friday night for football. And considering the weather, Larry, rain, high winds, tornadic activity, hurricane remnants, it's become the norm, it seems, this season. But the Grizzlies, they got by one roadblock, the Copley Indians, last Friday and have positioned themselves well for a playoff spot, especially with a win here tonight. The next hurdle is tonight's opponent, the Bulldogs, a team with the best defense in the league, giving up only just about a touchdown per game. Let's see in this weather if the balanced offensive attack the Grizzlies have employed as of late can come out on top.
Well, you talk about the weather when they show a wide shot. If you look in the upper right and upper left-hand corner of your screen, that's 40-mile-an-hour wind-blown rain coming across the field. I'll tell you one record we set tonight, John, no matter what happens on the field. This is the first time that back-to-back games have been played in the remnants of a hurricane. And, you talk about a huge game. Well, this is a huge game. And not only from standpoint of the Suburban League, where the winner takes sole possession of first place and odds-on favorite to win the league, but also in terms of computer points. Wadsworth is third in their region, Region 2, Division 1. Green is also third in their region in Division 2.
It's Region 7.
Division 2, Region 7. And I'm not going to say the winner is going to make the playoffs, but certainly is got to be favored to be a playoff team. And for Wadsworth to win tonight, I think a couple things have to happen. Number one, their offensive line has to play like they did last week. They did an outstanding job against Copley. And the other thing is they've just got to somehow cut down on the penalties. And sometimes it isn't how many penalties you get, it's when you get them. And Wadsworth had some critical penalties last week. Okay, it didn't matter. They won 21-7. But nobody knew that at the time the penalties were committed. So those are a couple things to look for. How well the offensive line plays, and can Wadsworth keep the penalties down?
Don't forget, too, Larry, the Grizzlies' defensive line. Kudos to the same, because they held Copley, always a high-scoring offense, scoreless through the last 3 quarters.
Yeah, it was 7-0 Copley, and that was all that Copley scored. But it's strange that as good as Copley's defensive backs were last week, and they're probably the best that we're going to face all year, defensively, this entire Green team might be the best defense that we had. Their linemen are superior to Copley's linemen. They're not big, but they are very fast. And one thing that always happens with the Green kids, you know you're going to get a bunch of hard hitters. They just grow them out there to hit hard. So I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. It's probably going to be remind you a lot of the Copley game, where perhaps 21 points is going to be enough to win it.
And the weather will have a lot to do with that tonight. But we're waiting for the teams to come out. They've waited a rather long time. Both teams still in their locker rooms. Here come the Bulldogs way at the far side of your screen.
Now, if you look at the screen, you see Green coming out of the tunnel there. The upper right and the upper left, as you just saw, that is the wind blown. It isn't exactly rain. It's like you're in the middle of a blowing cloud. It's just a heavy mist. But still going to make the ball slick, and that wind is going to make it tough to pass.
Green, you see, with the burnt orange helmets and the white jerseys. Wadsworth will be wearing the red jerseys. And you talked about Green's defense, Larry. Last week in their 17-0 win over Talmadge, they limited the Blue Devils to 7 first downs and 86 yards of total offense.
Oh, the person to look for in that defensive line is a kid by the name of Helmick, number 70. Who's an outstanding on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. And another point to make, though I hope this doesn't enter into things, is their field goal kicker, Wellick, is a legitimate Division I prospect. In fact, he's being recruited by Big Ten teams.
Yeah, Michigan State.
He can hit 45-yard field goals. Now, in this wind, it's going to make it a little trickier, but don't want to see it come down to the last play of the game where Green has the ball about 30 yards out. That's not what you want to see.
He hit a 40-yarder last week in the win over Talmadge. Also on the Green defense, they returned first-team All-Suburban League linebacker Paul Dannemiller, and also defensive back Alan Dugnan, who intercepted 9 passes last season. Lineman Dustin Marshall, as you mentioned, Larry, Clint Helmick, and Josh Walter, another name we'll be mentioning often.
Well, sometimes we don't give the coaches enough credit. The defensive coordinator for Green, Coach Dane, is a great defensive coach. He was at Norton in 1997 when that Norton team had such a great team and went to the playoffs. And since then, he's moved on to green, but has done a very good job as defensive coordinator.
Eldon McVicker, the head coach, now in his 5th season coaching the Green Bulldogs with a career record of 35-17. The Bulldogs last season had only 8 starters return, but they made it to the state semifinals before they lost to eventual state champions Toledo St. Francis de Sales.
Well, I have all the respect in the world for the Wadsworth coaches. I think they're a great bunch in terms of play calling and how they treat the kids. But these green coaches are a good bunch too. Now usually you can count on Wadsworth somewhere along the line to get a point or two because they're out coaching the other team. That might not be the case tonight.
This green team lost some superstars on the offensive side of the ball. Virtually all their skill players we can talk about more later. But it would surprise no one that they would end up winning the Suburban League this season. Just a very solid tradition, much like the Grizzlies, as Wadsworth kicks the ball off and it goes out of the hands of the receiver and through the end zone.
Well, I don't know if you could see that on your screen or not. The ball sailed. It wasn't that big a kick, but it got up there in that wind, which is gusting to 35, 40 miles an hour, and just sailed over the head of the player who is trying to field the kick. And you're going to see a lot of that tonight. Wadsworth won the toss, by the way, and chose to defer. And Green decided to take the wind in the second quarter, not in the first quarter, which I think is kind of an interesting call. So it's a 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. Green runs the same offense that Wadsworth does, pretty much a pro eye set with a split back.
They will vary the looks, though, with Bill Cundiff, a sophomore quarterback out there, throws a screen pass for a gain of about 7 yards. Sophomore Bill Cundiff, number 7, a 6'2", 170-pound quarterback.
Well, the word on Cundiff is sophomore is not particularly mobile. He's a good pocket passer, and that was a good play there. It was like a one-man screen and picked up 7 yards. The wide receiver to look at is number 50. Dugnan is the main recipient of the passes, but basically Green is a running team. They will throw, but their fort is running the ball, a lot like Copley's. They shift back into an I formation.
And it's a handoff to the tailback. Luke Busen breaks through the line and tackles in the backfield. Number 24, Drew McDermott, the tailback.
Well, the problem with that play is it just took too long to develop. As you watch this, okay, it's like it's happening in slow motion. Yeah, the handoff is very deep, and by that time, there's Luke Busen to throw the carrier for about a 6-yard loss, well, about a 4-yard loss. So it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 7. And this might be the first long passing down that Green has, and see how they throw the ball into this wind.
Cundiff going to throw, dropping straight back. Now stepping up into the pocket, getting around the line. And he misses one tackler, gets a 1st down to about the 36. 1st down rushing for Bill Cundiff and the Bulldogs.
And it was a nice run by Cundiff. The Wadsworth secondary did a good job. They had everybody covered. Cundiff had a long time, so he hangs back. And then, remember, this is not a scrambling quarterback. He doesn't want to scramble, wants to stay in the pocket, looking all over the place, and then decides to take off. And I thought for a second he was going to be tackled, but a good fake right there.
Got around Krzyzanowski.
And managed to pick up the 1st down, so it's 1st and 10 for Green on the 36-yard line.
Ray Kent, a junior, is the returning fullback for the Bulldogs, and he gets the carry up the middle. And Luke Busen makes the tackle at about the 42. That'll be a gain of 6.
Kent, the returning fullback, is a very good blocking back, and that's what they primarily use him for. But he's a lot like Luke Busen. When he gets the ball, he runs very, very hard. He doesn't have breakaway speed, but you're not going to arm tackle him. You're not going to tackle him high. It's going to take a couple people to bring him down. But don't look for him to carry the ball too much tonight. When he does, though, he can be very effective.
2nd and 4. He gets it again, bounces off the line, down to the 45, a gain of a few. Should be 3rd and short, maybe a 1st, depending on the spot.
I think they're going to spot it short, about a yard short. And that's exactly what we were talking about. He was hit right at the line of scrimmage, but did a little spin move and just drove his legs and managed to pick up 2 yards. So it's going to bring up a 3rd and 1, 3rd and a short one, as a matter of fact. And see what Green calls on this play.
Down and 1 with the ball spotted on the Bulldog 45.
Be interesting in these weather conditions and everything. Are they going to go for the yard, or are they going to go deep? Try for the big play in this particular point, because Wadsworth is really jammed up in the box. Up right
Again,
up the
fullback
and
gets it, and he's pushed back. helping push
Oh, they're
back.
giving him a great spot.
Billy Mueller was there to help push back, along with some other Grizzlies, but they're going to give him the forward progress.
Green got a very charitable spot on that because I didn't think that he made it. But where the referee spotted it, it's a first down. So Green's got themselves a little bit of a drive going here.
Another fact about the Bulldogs, very similar to the Grizzlies, Larry. They start sometimes 5 sophomores on both sides of the ball, and of Green's 57 players, only a dozen, like Wadsworth, are seniors.
Counter play, and a good job by number 44 making the tackle. There was Billy Mueller.
You look at their roster, though, Larry, and the seniors are spread out all around, kind of like Wadsworth.
So it looks like the next 2 years this is going to be a great game, too. Billy Mueller's kind of banged up. He had a separated shoulder. Now, separated shoulders come in all categories from out for the season to no big deal, and his is somewhere in the middle, but he is playing tonight. Also, Will Ling is generally kind of banged up. So that's a couple of critical players for Wadsworth, and I hope that they can stay in there and stay healthy.
Cundiff, handoff again to Kent. He's tackled again by Busen. Yeah, Will Ling, Larry, on the defensive side of the ball for the Grizzlies.
Josh McInturf made the tackle.
Third leading tackler coming into tonight's game with 55 tackles. You see, too, Larry, we don't have our clock camera in great operation tonight due to the winds and the rain, so we're going to have to keep you updated on the time, and we've now gone to our Fox Sports scoreboard there across the top. Cundiff, straight drop back, looking down the middle of the field. He's in trouble, scrambles out of the trouble, being pursued by McInturf and Krzyzanowski and Adam Melton, all of them there to help bring down Cundiff. That could have been for some positive yardage, but Cundiff just kind of was running around until he was brought down. Here you go.
Again, good defensive coverage downfield. There's nothing there. And as we said, Cundiff is not a scrambler. This is not what he wants to do. Tries to get outside, but you see the pursuit there by Will Ling. And up comes a bunch of Wadsworth defenders. Number 22, Krzyzanowski, was there. And
so was McInturf.
McInturf.
So Wellick's going to punt, and there is an example of Wellick's leg as Macko fields it at the 10. He slips and falls and gets nowhere. At the 11-yard line, they will get the ball. Andrew Wellick, what a boom.
43-yard punt. Yeah, I was talking about Wellick, the field goal kicker. I guess I forgot to talk about Wellick, the punter. Yeah, he does that too.
Yeah, he is just a great weapon, an all-Ohio choice, first-teamer as a junior last season.
You know what's so impressive about that punt? It went 43 yards, and that was into the wind. And this is no light breeze, ladies and gentlemen. This is like a 35 to 40-mile-an-hour gale that's blowing right in his face. So Wadsworth takes over 1st and 10 on there. They spot it on the 12-yard line.
Clint Cochran in trouble. And he's sacked right in front of the goal line. Who got back there on him? And it was Clint Helmick, the 6'2", 290-pound defensive tackle, a senior.
Well, that's what Clint Cochran's going to see all night. There's going to be people coming on every play. They've got that mobile defensive line, plus they bring linebackers on virtually every play. And Cochran doesn't look like he's going to have an awful lot of time to throw. He's going to have to get rid of the ball quicker than that. Brings up a 2nd down and 19.
Hand off to Busen. He steps over the line but gets tripped up, got about a yard or so. That was the 24th time Clint Cochran's been sacked this season, that last play. Cochran last week, 12 of 19 for 174 yards. And on the season, Cochran throwing at a 60% clip for 1,184 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a very good quarterback rating, Larry, of 99.
He's like 500 yards ahead of the number 2 passer in Medina County. But in those sacks, they almost all come when he rolls out. When he just drops back, everything's okay. When he tries to roll, the protection just isn't there.
Pat Brink in motion on that play. He's going to get the pass at the sideline, makes the catch at the 15, and he's tackled at the 16. Good job, Pat Brink.
But it's going to be well short of a 1st down, and that was a case where the Green defensive backs just peel way back as you watch. Now this is where Cochran's at his best. Quick drop, quick pass. Wide receiver went deep and took the defender with them, but they were playing an awful soft defense.
Those white jerseys with orange numbers, Larry, we're going to have a hard time reading the numbers tonight.
Yeah, by the time 3rd quarter comes around.
Mike Marshall into punt.
And boy, did he do an outstanding job last week of punting, particularly that bad snap where he kept his head about him, picked it up, and got a punt away. Green was coming for it.
Back
good line drive kick.
Number 15, Alan Dugnan. Takes it to the 45, and then bringing him down, Kurt Himmelwright, a good special teamer for the Grizzlies. Mike Marshall on the season averaging 35 yards a punt.
But like I say, that one last week where we were up 21-7, and about the only thing that could have brought Copley back in the game was a disaster. The fumble snap, he started to run with it, then had presence of mind to boot it downfield 20 yards. That could have been a game saver. So Green gets the ball in very good field position on the Wadsworth 47. 1st and 10.
So that's, I got an update there from our PA announcer. It's Alan Dagnan is how it's pronounced,
okay.
number 15, and he'll do a lot tonight for the Bulldogs. So good field position. Handoff there to Drew McDermott, and he's wrestled down inside Wadsworth territory.
Pickup of about 5, tackled on the play by Billy Mueller. And this is the kind of stuff that you're going to see from Green all night long. And hopefully, the next time Wadsworth gets the ball, that they can hang on to it for a bit, move the ball, because you don't want the defense on the field all that much. That was Wadsworth's problem the first couple games of the season. They couldn't move the ball, and the defense just had to be on the field too long. Nice play
hit there by Krzyzanowski.
Krzyzanowski smelled that one coming. He just took a couple steps in and planted himself and just waited for the ball carrier. Nice open field tackle by Krzyzanowski. And so that's going to bring up a 3rd down and 6. So he actually lost a yard on the play. And the play coming in.
Green lost All-State wide receiver Scott Casto to graduation last year. A quarterback in Chris Edwards, who threw for almost 2,100 yards. Tailback Brandon Owing, who rushed for almost 1,500 yards. But Cundiff gets rid of it and throws it out of bounds. The intended receiver was Jesse Zimmerman, a sophomore wide receiver.
I think that was a case where he was going to fake a short sideline pass and then have the receiver go deep. But what happened, he got a bit of pressure, and also there was not bad coverage over there by Wadsworth, so kind of just threw the ball away, and Green will have to punt their 2nd punt.
There you see Coach Dennison and his career record, now in his 8th year with the Grizzlies.
Mr. Everything, Paul Macco is deep, and another beautiful punt.
That punt from Wellick, fielded at the 11 by Macco, gets a block initially, gets around the 20, and steps back in, and he's down to the 29-yard line is Paul Macco.
Oh, it's amazing how high those punts are. I mean, Macco, by the time he fielded the ball, had 3 defenders right in his face.
We need the stopwatch, Larry.
Yeah, to calculate how high those are going. And once again, more impressive, that punt was into the wind.
Macco averaging 10 yards per punt return on the season. But, Larry, this is a Green team that has learned to win over the past 2 seasons, not including their games this year, but in 2000 and 2001, they played in 26 games.
And that means some of them are playoffs. It means a lot of them are playoffs.
That means 6 playoff games reversed to Brink, the 30, the 20.
Oh, they're throwing that's going to be a clip on Wadsworth. And what we were talking about beginning of the game, Wadsworth can't have these kind of penalties. Oh, holding penalties, same thing. And the problem was that hold occurred like way behind where the ball carrier was. It had no bearing on the play whatsoever.
So the last 2 years, Larry, of course, you have the regular season is 10 games. That's 20. In 2000, they reached the 2nd round, so that's 22. Last year, reaching the state semifinals, that's 4 games, 26. Plus, this is now game number 7. And they have a little bit of a drop-off. Like I said, I mentioned the players that they're missing now, but Green is still Green.
Yep. And, again, they're hard hitters. That's the thing. They're a well-coached, hard-hitting team, and those kind of teams are going to give you trouble no matter how good you are. So 1st and 24 for Wadsworth.
Delay handoff.
And that play worked so well last week.
About 4 or 5 times, and Green probably saw the films, and they're going to wait on that one all night.
A loss of 2 on that play.
Their kicker, Larry Wellick, 15 field goals last year as a junior, averaged 36 yards a punt, but...
Well, you know, that average for punt is kind of deceiving because what it doesn't tell you how many he put out inside the 20 and how many got up there so high that they might not have been long. There wasn't any run back.
Bad snap, but Cochran dug it out of the ground, throws it out to Macco, bounces off some defenders, and gets it down to the 27. It's still going to be 3rd and long.
But that was a pretty good pickup. Picked up about 15 yards on the play to make it at least doable. And watch on this play how Cochran gets hit after he lets go of the ball. I guess we don't see the quarterback, and there he is there. And
27-yard line.
Mako last week, Larry, 141 yards rushing, 101 yards receiving. And on the season, he is averaging 16 yards per catch. That pass just out of the reach of Mako.
And I'll tell you what happened on that particular play, the blitz. And
a couple players down for the Grizzlies after the end of that play.
And there are 2 players down on the field.
Officials timeout.
Looks like Tim Swartz is one of them.
Congratulations to the following Wadsworth High School students: James Bellinger, Elizabeth Koki, Jennifer Hunt, Mark Landerholm.
Well, there was a blitz coming on the play, and everybody met at the quarterback at that particular time. And Swartz was banged up before. Early on, he had a bad leg, and he might have re-injured the leg.
Well, while we have this timeout, let's maybe take a look at the scores from last week's games of all of Wadsworth's opponents. We may have some timeouts to bring you the rest of the graphics tonight, but man, this rain, it's just like someone has just laid a fog of mist over the area and then turned a huge fan on.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
And it's just a continuous.
Cochran is up. So
he was the other one down, but Swartz is the one being attended to now.
And it looks like they're working on his right knee, but I can't tell for sure from where we're at. You see Cochran coming off the field. It looks like he got a bruised thigh or
hip or something.
Yeah.
So down in the truck, if we could see last week's scores. And really no surprises around the league. Norton did beat Revere 6-0.
And they're getting Tim Swartz up now and seeing how he's going to come walking off. And oh, he looks very gingerly. Okay, take a look up there. Ravenna beat Barberton 18-13. That was a bit of a surprise. I had a hunch Barberton was going to win that. Falls, no surprise over Stowe. Medina, we picked up some points there as they beat North Royalton. That wasn't a surprise. The game you talked about before, John, where Green held Talmadge at 86 total yards offense, 17-0. The big shocker up there is the top. Norton 6-0. They scored 6 points in the first quarter and made it hold up. And Norton, believe it or not, is in contention to make the playoffs in that very tough Division III.
Of course, Wadsworth winning, then Highland drubbed Cloverleaf.
So Wadsworth will have their second punt tonight. Mike Marshall to punt with 1:26 to go in the first quarter.
So should Norton win tonight, they'll be in second place with the loser of this one. That kick fielded by Zimmerman, and there to tackle him is Andy Krzyzanowski.
Again.
Took a few times, but he got him.
That was a real nice punt. And Krzyzanowski just hung in there. He grabbed him by the shirt, spun him around. Watch him now. As Krzyzanowski's the top of your screen, he'll grab him by the shirt, spin him around. The runner gets loose, and Krzyzanowski just chases him right back down and finally tackles him again. So with 1:10 to go, Green will take over 1st and 10 on their 35-yard line.
Krzyzanowski, 49 tackles through 6 games this season. It's a handoff to the tailback, Drew McDermott, and he brings it out to the 42-yard line.
And he got hit twice, once behind the line of scrimmage and the other time at the line of scrimmage, but managed to squirm away and pick up good yardage on that play. So statistically, at least, Green is really outplaying Wadsworth, and part of it has to do with field position. Green's had outstanding field position the whole first quarter. Wadsworth has started twice, once on their 15 or so, and the second time on about the 25.
35 seconds to go in the first quarter. Delayed handoff to the fullback Kent, and just carries some people with him for
Doesn't
a
he
Green
remind you of
first
Luke
down.
Houston, though? I mean, it's the same type of player. He just gets the ball, he tucks it in, puts his head down, and just plows forward. And he's very difficult to bring down. So that'll be a 1st and 10 for Green. And this may be the last play of the first quarter there. It depends on how fast Green comes out of the huddle. Looks like they're
coming up. 20
playout.
seconds to go here in the first. Keep forgetting where I'm so used to our clock being up there.
Yeah, that we forget to tell you people at home how much time is left.
Fake handoff now rolling back the other way is the quarterback. Intercepted!
That's
it was off the hands.
Oh,
That was Adam Milton with the interception. It was off the hands of the intended receiver, and happy birthday, Adam Milton, because it just fell right into his hands.
I thought he had a touchdown in that because there was nobody in front of him, but number 15, the wide receiver, managed to catch him from behind. Good pressure on the quarterback right there, and watch the ball right through the hands, and there's Adam Milton, just picks it up. There is nobody in front of him at all, and I thought, there's a touchdown. But you see the wide receiver, what speed he has to bring him down.
He recovered from the missed catch and ran down Adam Milton. So the Grizzlies with great field position in the ball, and they're going to keep it on the ground.
And that'll be the last play of the first quarter.
With the score 0-0.
I would say, John, looking at the first quarter, about the kind of game that we would have expected, particularly given the weather conditions, which certainly don't lend themselves to an awful lot of dynamic offense.
That was Adam Milton's second interception of the season.
Here's the stats for the first quarter. No surprise that Green dominated. For Wadsworth, first of all, they had one penalty for 10 yards, a total of 14 yards offense, 24 passing, minus 7 yards rushing. Of course, the sack was part of that. Adam Melton's interception, of course, was the highlight. As far as Green, they had three first downs. They had 49 yards total, 42 yards rushing, 7 yards passing. And, again, it was just one of those kind of slog-it-out type first quarters, like two heavyweight prize fighters trying to feel each other out and see if things open up a little bit more here in the second quarter. Now, Wadsworth has an excellent opportunity to score, and I don't think they can let this one go by. They're going to be going into the wind, which means Galpert would have a tough time kicking a field goal with that 30, 40-mile-an-hour wind in his face. So they might have to push it in a little closer than you would think before they give Galpert a try. Otherwise, he's down there on the sideline warming up. And Cochran, fortunately, looks like he came back from that hit and handling the ball okay.
Grizzlies at the 31, first play of the second quarter. Cochran short drop back, a slant pattern run, and interception. Alan Dagnan.
So Wadsworth turns it right back over on a very nice interception.
So after it went through Dagnan's hand and the Grizzlies intercept it, Dagnan makes up for it and comes back and intercepts the Grizzlies.
That was a good interception. The receiver was well covered. There just wasn't much there on that slant route to the inside. Dagnan was just there to make the catch.
Fourth interception thrown by Clint Cochran this season.
And so Green takes over, 1st and 10 on their 20. And nice defense by the Grizzlies. Luke Busen was there to make the stop on the inside trap play as soon as the ball carrier got the ball. Boy, you know, just looking at this game, John, you wonder if anybody's going to score. You know, like this could go into overtime and more overtimes and more overtimes because you got two tremendous defenses out there. And, again, with field conditions that don't really favor much offense, there isn't going to be an awful lot of scoring. This is that, like we said in the beginning. So that's going to be a 2nd down and 10 for Green.
11:20 to go, second quarter, and that pass was intended for, I can't read the numbers, Larry.
Well, one of the problems that we have tonight, in addition to the dirt getting on them, if you look at their uniforms, the white and then the orange is not particularly dark, and it's kind of hard to read to begin with. We told you people last week, you can take the camera aperture and open it up and make that field look as bright as daylight. But when you're here with the mist driving across the field and the
darkness in the background,
and how light the numbers are, it's very difficult to read the numbers on the Green players.
Cundiff looking for a receiver. Finds Dagnan. And he gets a 1st down and more. Look at the amount of time Cundiff had to throw there.
That was very impressive. I mean, that was about his 3rd receiver because what he was trying to do was go deep to the left side. As you watch this, he's looking left, looking left.
Look at the blocking up front.
The blocking is great. And then at the last, he turns to his right and looks for about his 3rd receiver, and who is wide open behind the linebackers and underneath the safeties. So it was great offensive line play by Green that gave him enough time to throw the ball.
And Green's going to call timeout. Yeah, 10:54 to go in the second quarter.
Which gives us an excellent time to answer the question we've all been asking all week. What happened to the Saraville-Shenandoah Fighting Zeppelins last week? And the answer is they won against a tough Johnstown-Monroe team. and that win catapulted them into the 7th spot in their region. So if the season were to end tonight, Sayreville Shenandoah would make the playoffs, but they have a tough one tonight. Tonight they're playing Monroe Central, and if they can beat Monroe Central, not only may they make the playoffs, but they might have a home field advantage. So, as I tell you people every week, let's just keep cheering for the Fighting Zeps.
Some of those big guys up front for the Green Bulldogs, Larry. Dustin Marshall, 6'1", 220. Clint Helmick, 6'2", 190. Josh Walter, 6'3", 248. So
they're not huge, but they're a very mobile, good-hitting bunch of people. And the bigger lines were Medina and Cuyahoga Falls. Those are truly huge lines. And not big, but they are mobile and they hit.
Handoff to McDermott, finds a big hole up the middle, and it takes Kurt Himmelwright, the defensive back, to bring him down at the 45.
A good play by Kurt because it was an open field tackle, and if Kurt had missed that tackle, there was trouble because there's a lot of green behind Kurt. So a good job by Himmelwright making the stop, but it's a pickup of about 8 yards and brings up a 2nd down and 2.
And you meant a lot of green turf, not a lot of green high school.
Right.
Every year I say it. Why aren't their colors green?
Orange and why are they orange and black and white? Why aren't they green? And
another big hole for the tailback McDermott, and he's thrown out of bounds at the 37.
Kurt Himmelwright made the tackle there. And now this is where we got to do a promo.
Yes, Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza, 334-4949 here in Wadsworth. Give them a call. Thanks to Papa John's Pizza for their sponsorship of WCTV football.
We were talking about the field goal kicker for Green. Believe it or not, with this series of downs, Green could move into it without getting a first down field goal range, particularly with that 30-mile-an-hour wind.
The wind would be at his back.
Pass.
And caught by Dagnan. And 30-yard line, a lot of cushion given up there by the Wadsworth defense.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where they're coming wide open behind the linebackers and in front of the safeties. And I don't know if Wadsworth's going to have to make some adjustments and have their corners and safeties play a little tighter, but the receivers are just like standing there wide open. It's not like they're great receptions. It's just grab the ball and then run.
9.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. 2 receivers to the left.
2nd and 3.
Hand off to Kent, and he gets the first and a couple more.
So I got to say so far that Green has done a pretty good job of just pretty much pushing Wadsworth all over the field. Green has done nothing spectacular, but they're making what they do work. They're running very fundamental plays. Their pass plays are very fundamental pass plays, but it's all clicking. And Wadsworth is going to have to stiffen up here right now and make some kind of stop, or it could be an awfully long night for the Grizzlies.
Ball on the 25, 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. Hand off again, McDermott. Off the left side, steps out of a couple tackles and inside the 15.
To the 14-yard line with 8:56 to go in the first. So that'll be another 1st and 10. As you watch this, it's just good blocking at the point of attack, and then a quick little cut there. Broke tackle there, and away
so far, Larry Green really controlling the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they are, because the tailback, McDermott, is not a hard runner. He's very small.
He's 5'6", 155.
So you're going to bring him down easy if you can touch him, but nobody's been able to touch him. Well, there they did.
Someone was waiting there to meet him. It would be Will Ling.
So, as I was saying about their tailback, it isn't that he's going to break many tackles. He's just going to be quick and shifty. And if you've got an offensive line that's opening a bit of a hole for you, he's dangerous, because if he gets through there, away you go.
Remember, Larry, this season they shifted the order in which teams play each other. The Grizzlies ended each of their past 2 seasons with losses to the Bulldogs.
Yeah. In the last 2 years, they 7-0, and then they went
2-3, and then 0-3.
Those were not good times. Pass.
Fake handoff. Cundiff looking in the end zone. He's in trouble. Gets out of trouble. Still maneuvering. Finally brought down by Will Ling and a couple others, but the Grizzlies just have to stop the quarterback when he went over there and didn't have anywhere to throw.
Yeah, nothing really happened. I mean, it would have been the same loss when he was over there, whether he was tackled the first time or the last time, because he ran laterally across the field. But I agree, they should not have let him get away. So there was a loss of about 3 on the play, and it brings up a 3rd down and 8.
Mist still blowing here at our
But, you know, it's
stadium.
not blowing as hard, it doesn't seem. I was watching the radar before I came to the game, and it looked like this whole system was going to get out of here fairly quickly. So the wind is, just I say that, the wind kicks up again, but it's a little better than it was at the beginning of the game.
3rd and 8. Ball on the 13. Quick throw, and then Cundiff gets out of it. Being pursued by Krzyzanowski. He gets rid of it.
And
pass is high in the corner and incomplete. Here comes Wellick.
And this is the person we've been talking about, Wellick, the kicker. First team All-State as a junior last year, recruited by Big Ten teams. And as you watch this, again, it's amazing the amount of time that he has. There just isn't any pressure on him. He looks this way, he looks that way, looks this way, looks that way. And now here comes Krzyzanowski, put some pressure on as he's going down. There is a receiver open about the 5-yard line. The ball's just overthrown. So let's see if Mr. Wellick lives up to his reputation.
Going to kick it from the 20, which will make it
a 30-yard field goal, line drive.
And it was 30 yards plus about 15. 7:03 to go. The Bulldogs come out on top, 3-0.
So I got to say this hasn't been an auspicious start for Wadsworth. We got 7:03, as we said, in the second quarter. And I think it's imperative that Wadsworth get this ball, and I'm fond of making this, make a statement. They've got to do something positive before they go into halftime. Hopefully they can get down and score. But if they can't, they have to show green right now that they can move the ball. And for starters, let's hope they get it in decent field position, which would be the first time tonight except for the interception when they got it on the 30-yard line. So, well, let's see what Wellick does with this kick with the wind at his back. I mean, this one might go, like over the fence and through the cars in the parking lot and end up in the playground down there, the way he kicks. And as mark of respect, the Wadsworth returners are back inside the 10-yard line. Usually they stand inside the 5, and usually they stand on about the 10. But they're back pretty deep. So got Mako back there, and can't see the number on the other one.
That's Pat Brink.
Pat Brink.
Or no, it's Matt
Kurt
Himmelwright. I'm sorry, yes.
And there it goes.
And that will be over the head of Mako, and will
that was
come
about
out.
5 yards short of a field goal. And no surprise there, Wadsworth takes over on their 20-yard line.
7:03 to go in the second quarter. 3-0 Green.
And
Grizzlies 450 yards of offense last week, Larry.
This year, tonight, I doubt if they have more than 25 yards of offense with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. Again, they got to do something positive right here and right now.
Fake handoff to Mako, and coming out of the backfield is Luke Busen. He catches it at the 30-yard line, pushed out the 25. He catches it, pushed out at the 35, about 10 yards after the catch.
So that's the biggest gain Wadsworth had tonight. It's a 26-yard pickup and a 16-yard pickup, the biggest play, and almost totals exceeds their total yardage for the night. Very safe pass, just a little rollout. As you can see, Busen wide open, and he does what he does, puts his head down and rambles down the field. So I hope that's a positive sign for Wadsworth. A lot of stunning by the Green defense.
Quick handoff to Busen. He's plowing forward to about the 41. That's a gain of 4.
But these Green players will bring somebody on every play. And that time you saw the linebackers jump up, get ready to fill the gaps. And it makes it very difficult, confuses the blocking schemes for the Wadsworth offensive line. But it was a pickup of, I would say, 4, bring up a second down and 6. And Wadsworth has a single running back now, and they've got things spread out with 3 wide receivers to the top.
Cochran keeping it, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 43-yard line, gain of a couple.
So it's
Third
going to
and 5.
Bring up about a 3rd and 5. That was a strange play. What happened is they had 3 wide receivers to the top of the screen, and they were looking for the 1 wide receiver on the bottom of the screen to Cochran's right. But the defensive back did a good job of just jamming everything up so there wasn't anything there, and Cochran was just forced to tuck the ball and run. So 3rd and 4, and I'll tell you, this is a big play for Wadsworth early in the game as it is. They don't want to give the Green the ball back with 6 minutes to go. They've got to keep the ball a little bit, maintain some possession.
Cochran rolling to the left, being pursued, sacked again.
And here we go again. Somebody's coming on every play, and there just weren't enough blockers back there to pick it up.
And it looks like the game plan is put pressure on quarterback Clint Cochran.
And so far it's worked tonight. You look at those sacks, and every time there's a sack, it's on a rollout. When he stands up and pops the ball, not much happens. Rolls, and he's going to get sacked. So it's going to bring up a 4th down and 12. And Mike Marsh will be kicking into the wind, which just picked up again.
And it's off the end of his foot, and it bounces right in front of the green bench at midfield. So Green Bulldogs with great field position, 5.5 minutes to go till halftime.
It was a 15-yard punt off the side of his foot, and most unfortunately, Green has the ball in very good field position. Again, talking about Wellick, the field goal kicker, you don't have to march too far downfield before they're in position to score. So Wadsworth is going to have to toughen up real quick here if they don't want to go into the half down more than 3-0.
Cundiff, a little shovel pass. It's caught by, I think it's the fullback. And it was the fullback, Ray Kent, who got the shovel pass there from, here it is.
Picked up about 12 yards on the play.
Here's the shovel.
Here's the shovel pass right there. And the nice thing about a shovel pass like that is it's not a pass in the sense that if it's not handled, it's an incomplete pass. Or a fumble, I mean. It's just an incomplete pass if it's dropped. So it's a safe play to same thing as a pass. So it's a safe play to run in the middle of the field where you don't have to, it isn't a fumble. If he drops it, he drops it. It's just a pass.
Somebody jumped there. We'll see.
See what this is the first penalty we've had tonight. No, there was that one clipping penalty on Wadsworth. Holding penalty, yeah. It's Green's it's against Wadsworth.
Yep.
Somebody jumped for Wadsworth, and it's going to bring up a 1st and 5 with 5 minutes and 4 seconds to go.
Encroachment on the Grizzlies. That's their second penalty.
Yep. Green has not been penalized yet tonight. And I'll tell you, I'm very impressed with how crisp this Green team looks. They are executing very well, and they just look sharp. And they look a lot sharper than Wadsworth does at this point.
1st and 5 at the 32. Delayed handoff to the tailback. McDermott still on his feet and stopped at the 23-yard line. That's a gain of about 9.
John, did I say something about him being tough? I mean, easy to bring down? Well, may I rescind that statement because that isn't true. As you watch this draw play, it seems like he stopped half a dozen times, and he's not supposed to be able to break tackles, supposed to go down easy, but watch. Hit there by Luke Busen, he gets away from. Hit there
by Porchowski, the Grizzlies' leading tackler.
And hit there before he's finally brought down for a 1st and 10 on about the 24-yard line.
4:20 to go in the first half. Cundiff throwing over the middle, slant pattern run, and the throw was there, but just a little bit out of the reach of the intended receiver, whose number I cannot read.
And again, look like what happened on that particular play as you watch it. Watch the time that Cundiff had. I mean, he's got all day to sit back there, and I think what happened with the 30-mile-an-hour wind is back, the ball floated just a little bit. As you watch it, there it goes. Watch how open the receiver is right there, and the ball just like floated away from him. But that was a good play.
2nd and 10 on
good
the 23.
Good blocking and a real good route by the receiver.
McDermott gets it again,
nice
and
tackle by Luke Busen
from behind Luke Busen.
And that's probably going to be a clip or a hold on Green from where the penalty came from. So let's see, they're talking it over. You watch it, I want to see if we can find the penalty.
It's a pitch there to McDermott as he...
There was the hold right there. You could see somebody is grabbing either him or right at Chernoski's jersey. So that one was pretty obvious. He was tackled. They're talking it over with the Wadsworth players. And let's see what they do. Holding against Green. Let's see. Personal foul, holding. And so that's going to bring up a 2nd down and about 18 or 19, I believe, because you marked that penalty from the 10 yards from the spot of the foul. No, I'm sorry, it's 2nd down and 22 when all is said and done.
Drew McDermott led the Green rushing attack last week in the win over Talmadge with 95 yards rushing, while Alan Dagnan caught 4 passes for 60 yards.
They changed it on the scoreboard to 2nd and 18. And there's the pass again. Again, outstanding protection and almost intercepted.
Just out of the reach of Andy Krzyzanowski.
So that's going to bring up a 3rd down. And that penalty looms pretty big right now because that effectively took them out of field goal range.
Well.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the ball? It's on the 32, 42, 49-yarder. Well, you know, they might try for a 49-yarder if they don't get anything on this play.
Boy, the scoring averages are going to go down tonight. Coming into tonight's game, Larry, the Grizzlies averaging 27 points a game and Green 22.
Well, the thing with Green with that 22, they scored 52 points against a very weak Louisville Aquinas Division IV team. And that makes the stats look a little better.
So really
some pressure for a change.
And again, wobbling pass over the middle, but out of the reach of the Grizzly defender. Yeah, that 52 points, so maybe they're averaging 14 a game.
Yeah.
You take that down to a normal scoring contest.
Right. The thing about Green is you watch, they finally get some pressure. They're bringing some people. Number 1 coming in there is Chris Corwell from an outside position and almost intercepted.
Yeah, Green giving up only 7 points a game to Wadsworth 13, and they're going to kick a field goal from the 40, Larry.
That's a 50-yard field goal. And
he hit one from 40 last week.
Wadsworth doesn't look like they're buying it, and that's
so
good that they don't. I mean, they're just going to let him kick it. I mean, if you can make it from 50, good for you. And there it comes at a way low. And that's returnable.
No, it's in the end zone.
In the end zone.
So I think that one, I don't think was a solid kick. I don't
know if somebody touched that at the line of scrimmage or not. There's some Wadsworth players flying in there. But what that is a touchback. It was fielded in the end zone. It isn't like in the pros where if you miss a field goal, you get the ball from the spot where the ball was kicked. So it was a touchback, and Wadsworth takes over in the 20, and they got 3:26 to go. Knowing this Wadsworth team, 3:26 is plenty of time for them to score, and let's hope they can do so. You don't want to go into the first half, into the locker room at the end of the first half like this. A reverse.
Again to Brink, and he's tackled in the backfield.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The Green team has really got Wadsworth scouted well. All the things were going for them last week against Copley just aren't working this week. So
2nd and 10, ball back to the line of scrimmage, but it's actually back about a yard to the 19.
That reverse, like I say, didn't fool anybody on the Green defense.
Grizzlies ran a fake reverse last week, and now we're in the formation with the running backs flanking Cochran, and he looks to throw the screen pass. He does to Macco, who turns on the afterburners and gets it down to the 27. But a couple more yards, he may have picked up even more speed.
But I'll tell you, with only 2:35 to go, Green is going to let them have those kind of passes. As you watch this, looking right, then all of a sudden looks left, finds Macco out there, and the Green defenders are playing way back, very soft, and there they are. So it's a pickup of 7, 3rd and 4, but Green will give them that all night in this particular position.
2:10 and counting in the first half. That pass flailed out of the hand of Cochran, and it's intercepted. Yeah, it just slipped. He was going to throw it, and right as he was releasing, it just kind of slipped out of his hand and floated up in the air, and the Green defender came up with it at the 20-yard line. Big play.
You watch this. It's going to be a quick out, and this ball comes out like a shot put as he goes to throw it right there. It slips right out of his hand, and Green defender, number 21, just waiting to pick it off.
Sophomore Jesse Zimmerman with the interception, and this could be a big play for the Bulldogs. Ball on the 16 with 2 minutes to go.
And Green has 2 timeouts that I know of. Hand up off the middle. And
just surging forward was the fullback, Ray Kent, down inside the 10.
So that's going to be a pickup of, I would say, about 6 or 7 yards and bring up a 2nd down and 4. And Green chooses not to use a timeout. The clock's running with 1:40 to go.
Substitution for the Grizzlies. Billy Mueller coming off the field. Hand off again, Kent, plowing through the middle, down to the 5.
Minute and a half. Close to a first down, I think. Depends on the spot, but I think he's got it.
Minute and a half to go in the first half, so.
Do they call timeout, or no, they're just moving the chains?
Right.
Just moving the chains. Okay, right on the 5-yard line.
Now the running back split, and it's handed to Kent. Again, he surges forward, comes out of the pile, and falls down right at about the 1.
It was funny. It looked like he was stopped, and I'm almost surprised they didn't blow the whistle because it looked like he was stopped right there. Then he squirted out of the pile, and actually nobody touched him. He just stumbled forward to the 2-yard line.
Kent, a junior, but this is his second season starting, and he is your prototypical fullback, Larry, 5'10", 220.
Fire plug. So it's a 2nd down and 3.
And they'll probably go to him again. Let's see.
Yep.
Up the middle, surging forward, leaning forward, and the whistles blow. No signal.
And we're down. The clock is still running with 49 seconds to go. Now a timeout is called by Green, I assume.
45 seconds to go.
And it's
3rd and 3, you think they...
Well, you know, they've had the 2 shots up the middle with the fullback, and this time Wadsworth stopped them for a yard gain each time. It would really surprise me if they went to that again. And that's a good timeout by the by the Green offense to get it settled down. I mean, this could be a real turning point in the game if they can punch this thing in here. If they have to settle for another field goal, that would not be disastrous as far as Wadsworth is concerned. There isn't that much difference going into halftime, 6-0 or 3-0. But there's a big difference, 10-0 to 3-0.
Well, had the weather been nice tonight, nicer, Larry, we would have had a real great crowd here tonight, but it's not too bad considering.
Well, one thing, John, it's warm. The temperature is about 70 degrees, so it isn't like it's a cold driving rain or something like that.
And this is a game for first place in the Suburban League.
Yeah, and the computer standings and all that type of stuff. So here comes one of 2 big plays, hopefully, for Wadsworth.
I know it's a little early, but give credit to our camera people, Larry, for, like the players and fans,
hanging in there.
Yep. I bet you a lot of people as we watch this play. 3rd and 3. Handoff to McDermott, bounces off the line and just waltzes into the end zone for a Green touchdown.
The reason I said oh my was he was stopped behind the line of scrimmage, and somehow this McDermott, who isn't supposed to be able to break a tackle, broke another one.
Here it is.
As you watch this, watch how he stopped. As he comes left, somebody gets a hand on him and stops him. There.
Adam Melton had him there.
And he just broke through.
Yep.
So it's 9-0 Green.
44 seconds to go in the second quarter. Somebody jumped there. But Larry was going to say, I'm sure there are a lot of people that didn't come tonight and said, well, I'll just watch it on WCTV later. I don't feel like sitting out in this stuff and catching a cold tonight.
Well, that's not the greatest of attitudes. We kind of like it if you come and see the game and then go home and watch the replays. Yeah. But again, it isn't that bad a night. The Green stands are filled, and they're lined up maybe 1 or 2 deep. It's not that good a night either, no. But, now the wind's kicking up again. As you look in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you can see the wind-blown mist. Green was penalized
marching back, but with their kicker, it really doesn't matter.
No, I don't. Still a chip shot.
So from the 15, Andrew Wellick will kick it. Looking to go up 10-0 on the Grizzlies in the first half. And he plants the foot and booms it through. 10-0 Green. 44 seconds to go in the first half.
No surprise you got a strong leg when you could kick a 44-yard field goal, but went through there very impressively. Well, I think Wadsworth is going to have to do some regrouping at halftime. As it isn't only that Green is up 10-0, which they are. Wadsworth has been thoroughly outplayed. And when we get the stat sheet, I think it'll be obvious how outplayed they were.
Let's, if we get a chance, look at tonight's ball games of Wadsworth's opponents here before we hit the second half. And then in the second half, we'll get to the rest of our graphics and tonight's trivia question. But there's some good games going on besides this one being the game of the week. But here you go.
Barberton, Kent Roosevelt. Take a look. I think Barberton's going to win that one. Hudson beat the Falls. I think, no doubt about that. Brunswick, Medina. Brunswick should win that. Talmadge, Norton. Norton is really coming on. Copley figured to bounce back over Cloverleaf. Revere, Highland. That's anybody's pick as far as I'm concerned. Highland was trying to reestablish themselves as, after that wonderful season they had last year, it hasn't panned out the way they wanted to. But Revere is up and down. You never know what they're going to do. So
Yeah,
Wadsworth is going to pick up some computer points, I think, from Barberton, but I can't see Medina beating Hudson. Hudson's ranked number one in their region. Brunswick, Medina. Brunswick's ranked number one in the region.
Brunswick's ranked, what, like 13th in the AP poll in the state, Division I. So Hudson ranked it up there, too. Cochran going to throw down the sideline way over everybody's head. 39 seconds to go.
And once again, somebody came for Green and came in untouched, and Cochran is taking quite a beating tonight. He's not going to survive an awful lot longer unless they get somebody to block those blitzing Green linebackers. So 2nd and 10. And the statistics when we get them at halftime for Wadsworth, I think are going to be really stunning at how few yards that they've gained.
Mako not a factor tonight when this Busen gets the handoff with this weather. You know, he's that slash kind of player that's going to run the ball, catch the ball, and just not happening for the Grizzlies here tonight.
The same thing with Pat Brink. I mean, there's two of their biggest weapons last week that they haven't been able to utilize, and that might be the last play of the half because I don't see Wadsworth in any hurry. No, they might run another play.
15 seconds and counting.
15 seconds
3rd
to
and
go.
9, ball at the 21. They're going to run one more. See if they do or
if Cochran's just going to stand there. But it looks like they're going to run a play. They are.
Fake handoff. Long, down the middle, over everybody's head again. End of the first half with the Green Bulldogs leading 10-0. Let me check on the halftime festivities here before we go off. It is homecoming weekend here at Wadsworth High, so I think the homecoming troops are going to grin and bear it and come out on the field. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be back with the second half action.
Scott is the son of keeper takes base in basketball. The sophomore attendant and her escort are Jenna and Wyatt Russ. Jenna is the daughter of Terrence and Anita Lee. She participates in soccer and track and is involved in the Sacred Heart Youth Group. Wyatt is the son of Kevin and Mary Carol Watt. He is a member of the student council and participates in baseball. The junior attendant and escort are Amanda Gregory and Dan Smith. Hey, Jade, they're going to announce the daughter of Russell and Nancy Gregory. She is a football and basketball cheerleader and a member of the Principal and Leadership Academy, and participates in drama productions. Dan is the son of Michael and Margot Smith. He is a member of the Student Council, Huddle, Bob, Principal, Leadership Academy, Show Choir, and the Friends Club. He is also on the varsity golf. The senior members of Homecoming Corps are Rachel Day and Cindy Kiwakai. Rachel is the daughter of Tom and Carol Day. She is a member of Student Council and a leader in their church youth group. She is a photographer on the yearbook staff and also plays on the varsity tennis team. Sigby is the son of Bruce and Deborah Kiwakai Wright. He is a varsity wrestler, plays tennis, and participates in the youth to leaders program.
How you doing? Nice to see you. You look good. How you feeling?
Lindsay is the daughter of King and Paul Gilbert.
Did you
She's a
really?
member of Student Council, National
How's
Honor
basketball though?
She's a peer tutor and is an active
Are you really?
teacher. She is also a football and basketball cheerleader. Justin is the son of Laura and Eric Stewart.
When do you start practicing?
And snowboards for the Wadsworth.
28, 3 weeks.
Sarah Golden and DJ Schreier. Sarah is the daughter of Dr. Douglas and James Goldman. She is a member
So once you get going, how's Carol doing? She's staying busy? Bob?
Yeah, they got to do something. Got to start blocking that linebacker. They're going to pass the ball.
I think this 23 goes to our alternative.
Really?
Yeah.
White kid or black?
And now, the 2002 homecoming queen.
Was he a
Rachel Dent.
was he a huge scorer in high school?
I had a phone class.
S-E-N-G-B-E. I can spell it.
S-E-N-G-B-E.
Isn't there an E at the end of Dan? Sure.
The score's close.
And I know this is down the road, but do you think Paul
Oh,
would be good enough to play? I mean, if he went to prep school for
how are you, kiddo?
I'm good. How are you?
Just home for the weekend? How's school?
Great.
Good. You like it? How's
It's one thing for
Okay, welcome to the second half of tonight's game. Halftime score is Green 10, Wadsworth nothing. And the first thing I want to show you is the statistics for the first half, and they are just absolutely incredible. The thing that leaps out at you right there in the upper right-hand corner is Wadsworth has negative 14 yards rushing, 49 total yards of offense. The Greens 109 yards rushing and 44 yards passing. I don't know what to say, John, other than the fact that Green has basically shut down everything that Wadsworth has tried. I've never seen a team come in so well prepared for another team. Wadsworth can't do anything. All the different wrinkles, looks, and things that they showed against Talmadge, Green has managed to shut down. Now, on the positive side for Wadsworth, they got a couple things going for them. Number one, they have been a second-half team all year long, and that's coaching, because good coaches make changes at halftime.
There's your individual stats.
And the weather is getting a little better. It isn't raining anymore, and the wind's starting to drop
just
down.
came out. It's out from outside the box here, and it's still pretty warm, and just a few sprinkles dropping around.
As far as the numbers are concerned, Wadsworth only had one first down in the first half, 2 turnovers, both interceptions, one a good pick and one where the ball slipped out of Cochran's hands, 2 penalties for 15 yards, 35 yards total offense for Wadsworth. Cochran 4 and 9 for 49 yards and the 2 interceptions. Green had 10 first downs. They had 1 interception. 153 yards total. Their leading rusher, McDermott, 11 carries, 63 yards. And Cundiff, the quarterback, 4 out of 11 for 44 yards. And Wadsworth will receive the ball to start the second half. And I don't want to say Wadsworth has to score here, but, boy, it's almost that they have to. They've got to do something positive.
Willick's kick is returnable this time. Nope. He steps back into the end zone, does Kurt Himmelwright, so another touchback.
If you people don't know the rule, in high school ball, any kick in the end zone is an automatic touchback. You can't bring it back. So that one wasn't as deep as the first couple. It just about went into the parking lot, but when Himmelwright fielded the punt, he had his right foot back in the end zone, so they bring it out to the 20-yard line. And let's see if Wadsworth can get something going here with the weather conditions improving, the wind dying down, the rain stopped.
There's a pitch to Mako.
And how fast that Green defense closed. And Wadsworth has to run the football. They've got to establish the running game. When you look at that minus 14 yards rushing. A lot of that is you watch the pick. Well, watch what happens. There's a backer turning the play into where the Green defense just comes up and makes the tackle. That minus 14 yards rushing, remember, a sack is considered negative yards rushing. So Wadsworth had actually positive yardage, in a sense, rushing, but the sacks negated that.
Mako 411 yards rushing coming into tonight's game. It's a fake handoff. Cochran in trouble again, sacked for the third time tonight.
And he lost about 10 yards on that play. And as you watch, Cochran is rather slow getting up. As he goes to roll, he's going to throw the ball, starts to come back and gets hit, and looks like they rolled up his leg. But he's up, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 15. And John, it looks like that Wadsworth is starting right where they left off in the first half. And 3rd and 15, you figure they're going to throw the ball.
All-league linebacker Paul Dannemiller led the Bulldogs last year in total tackles with 114, 13 of those for loss. He also had 5 sacks. There's a pass intended for Mako. He had to reach out, but couldn't make the catch.
I think he'd have been short of the first down anyhow. So Wadsworth, exactly what they didn't want to do. They got a 3 and out, and will have to punt the ball from deep in their own territory. Again, the significance of this game, they're both 3-0 in the Suburban League, and both teams, I'm not going to say you got to figure they're going to win out, but have a very good chance of winning out. They're both ranked 3rd in their regions in the computer playoffs, and a lot of points for whoever wins this one.
The Bulldogs coming after that Mike Marshall punt. Dagnan fields it, and Krzyzanowski is there to meet him, and then it takes a couple of his friends to bring Dagnan down at midfield.
Oh, I'm really surprised Dagnan picked that up. He almost fumbled the ball when he's hit by Krzyzanowski. He was right on top of him. As you watch this, it was like a line drive kick. It takes a bounce right there, and watch Dagnan right there kind of fumble the ball along. And Krzyzanowski had the hold up because you don't want a penalty for an illegal hit or hitting the kid when he doesn't have the ball.
Not giving him a chance to
he has to have
the ball.
Right. So,
Green.
1st and 10, Green on the 50.
Great field position to start the 3rd quarter for the Bulldogs.
There's a lot of space in front of him.
Like a mug out there.
That's Dagnan with the ball, still on his feet, and then it takes Chris Corwell to push him out of bounds.
Well, I'll tell you, they ran that reverse, and the nearest Wadsworth defender was 20 yards downfield, and they had to come up and make the tackle. It was a pickup of, they're going to mark it, I think, about 13, 14 yards. And that was the first reverse I think they've run tonight. So they've come out with some confidence. They say, okay, we've done the basic, we've done the fundamentals. Let's try a few wrinkles and see what we can do with this as the rain is beginning to fall again.
Handoff, McDermott. And there's a good ankle tackle by Luke Busen, something we haven't seen a lot of tonight, and that's good tackling.
Busen has played very well at middle linebacker tonight. Actually, I think the defense has played well. I wish we had time of possession stats because the defense has been on the field so much.
And that's the exact antithesis of last week when Wadsworth's offense was on the field all night.
So, you got to give the Wadsworth defense credit. They have not played badly. They've just been on the field too much, and in particular that one penalty flag, that's going to be holding on Green.
Ray Kent got the handoff, and then the tackle was made by number 34, Matt Handshoe.
And the one interception that, there's the holding call on Green. The one interception that Green had, they got the ball on about the 25-yard line, so you can't the defense for allowing that touchdown. So this is going to move Green back a bit. The referee's talking it over, and they're going to mark it from the spot of the foul, which looks like just about the line of scrimmage, and they walk it back. And so it'll bring up a 2nd down and probably around 17 for Green.
9:28 to go here in the 3rd quarter, and a game for first place in the Suburban League. Over the years, Larry Green, Suburban League titles, 3 shares and 10 outright.
They have an impressive program.
Fake handoff to the fullback. Then it's a give to McDermott, the tailback, and from behind Luke Busen again is there. Busen becoming a one-man wrecking crew on the Grizzly defense.
You know, it's kind of funny when you look at Copley and Green, who both are very successful, like they do it two different ways. Copley always has the individual outstanding athletes. Green seems to be more of just a hard-hitting team concept. It's like Copley is the flash team and Green is the blue-collar type team. At least that's all the way I've always perceived them. So I'd bring up a 3rd and 19 for Green. I think it's the first long yardage situation they've been in, and a sack.
Coming in was Luke Busen and Will Ling and Jeremy Porchowski to just hit to the turf. Bill Cundiff, here it is.
But, you know, the thing is, as you watch the sack, Will Ling is the one that should get credit. The swim move right there and right in his face. But the trouble is with this punter, you can mark the ball back another 10 yards.
Doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't make much of a difference. He's going to put it deep anyhow. In a way, it's almost like you're doing the punter a favor.
Second sack of the season for Will Ling.
Beautiful punt.
Spiraling,
Just a beautiful
high
punt.
kick over the head and in the end zone, takes a Grizzly bounce.
See, when you've got an offensive weapon in a punter and a field goal kicker like Weller, it kind of like negates the sack. He was going to put it in the end zone before the sack. Okay, you got the sack. He puts it in the end zone anyhow. So Wadsworth takes over once again, their second possession in the second half on the 20-yard line. And we're down to 8:07 to play in the third quarter. And once again, the mist, because it's hard to call it a rain. It's more like a blowing cloud, has returned. And it's going to make it a little tough and
Larry,
slippery to throw the ball.
Green just, not always real big in size, but huge in heart and talent.
Yeah, they hit. They hit and they hit. So Busen got the ball, picked up about 5.
Well, the Bulldogs shared Suburban League titles 1968, 1970, and with Wadsworth in 1993. Outright, they won them in 69, 1973 through 1977, those teams from the 70s. 1982, 86, 87, and the year 2000.
I would call that domination of a conference. Of course, Wadsworth wasn't in it then. There was a different look.
Quick out pass to Macko.
Nice
Gets around
move.
the corner.
Holding
There's a flag.
is going to be a block, an illegal block on Wadsworth.
So a good play
It's going to be negated by a penalty, and like we said last week, you can't have those kind of penalties. Wadsworth did something positive, a real quick out, which is where Wadsworth gets their yardage. Good move by Macko, and he's got the first down right there. And continuing on, I didn't see the penalty, but
Chad
it came
back
in
the
from
linebacker there to make the tackle.
whatever the penalty was. It had to happen far away from the play because there was nobody over there for Wadsworth besides Macko. So that good play that they had, negated by the penalty.
The playoff run that they made last year, Larry, going to the state semifinals.
There's the call. It's an illegal block, a block in the back.
Round 1, they beat Warren Holland 37-8. Holland finished ranked 5th in the state poll in Division II last year. Then they went on to blank Youngstown Cheney 34-0.
Now hold on a second. I got to talk about that one.
Okay. Draw handoff to Macko, who just hits the line and falls down. They beat Cheney in round 2, 34-zip. Cheney was ranked number 2 in the state.
I grew up a quarter mile away from Cheney High School. My mom and dad both went to Cheney High School, and I would have gone there, except they sent me to a Catholic school. And Cheney has a fine tradition of sports. In 1942, the Heisman Trophy winner of that year, Frank Sinkowitz, graduated from Cheney High School before he went on to become a Heisman Trophy winner at Georgia Tech. So Cheney has an outstanding history of good football teams.
Low snap pulled out by Cochran. He throws for Marshall, way out of his reach.
A couple things happened there. Number one, once again, a green linebacker was in his face, and he had the hurry to throw. And number two, when Marshall tried to make his cut on the field, it wasn't really a crisp cut. His foot kind of went out from under him. He didn't go down, but he wasn't anywhere near the ball. So what happened after Cheney, John?
Let's see, regional final. The Bulldogs in 2001 beat Chardon, the Hilltoppers, 22-15. And then, of course, in the Final Four, they lost to the eventual state champs, as I mentioned early, Toledo St. Francis, 22-19.
Another Wadsworth punt, a line drive punt.
Marshall.
Good roll, and once again,
Green's going to start at midfield.
I'm really surprised that those green receivers are picking up the ball. I mean, that ball's got to be slick, and it's bouncing around. When it hits and bounces, you don't know exactly where it's going to go. And neither one of those balls bounced up where you could catch it chest high. They had to scoop it up down low. So either one of those could have been a disaster, but it worked out fine for Green. And Green has the ball once again in Wadsworth's 49-yard line.
As the wall of rain has returned.
Yeah, and once again, I'll tell you another stat I'd like to see is starting positions. I have a hunch that Green on average has started in Wadsworth's territory.
McDermott
Nice
gets
tackle.
it, but from the backfield comes, who else? Luke Busen.
Busen is playing an outstanding game. There's just no other way to put it. As you watch the handoff, Busen comes in basically untouched, smells the thing out, and there you go. In fact, if he had been a step quicker, he could have had the handoff. So it's a loss of about 5 on the
And
play.
I'm surprised with these sheets of rain, Larry. We've yet to see a fumble tonight.
Yeah, they've been a couple of passes have gone awry,
Right.
and there have been a couple of, let's say, drop passes because of the rain. But right, no fumbles.
Draw play to McDermott.
Luke-
Busen again.
He's having a career night tonight. Well, he has a career night most nights. Another loss by Luke Busen. But the problem is, as you watch Busen come in and make this tackle, the clock continues to run, and there's 5:34 left in the third quarter. And you'd say normally for a Wadsworth team, that would be plenty of time to score twice, but obviously. But they haven't done anything. They haven't moved the ball at all.
Coming into tonight, Larry, Luke Busen with 2 tackles for loss on the season. He's got at least 2 tonight.
So that brings up a third and lots.
15, ball on the 45. Here he comes again. They had 3 guys on Busen that time.
He was over the line of
And
scrimmage.
yeah, he was Cundiff. No flag. Yeah, the
There's
flag's
flag.
there in the middle
that
of
was
the
pretty
field.
obvious. Not only was he past the line of scrimmage, he was a good 2 yards past the line of
But
scrimmage.
again, Larry, the
watch
punter.
Watch Busen come in here. Now this time Busen doesn't make the tackle, but he takes 3 blockers with him right there. And now you watch, it's hard to tell from this angle, but at that point he's at the line of scrimmage right there,
there's
2
the
steps
marker.
over. So that was a good call. But again, I forgot there's a penalty on this, of course.
But again, with Wellick
illegal
punting.
pass.
So Luke Busen forced that bad move by quarterback Bill Cundiff.
Okay, on that particular play, the illegal pass, it's a
There's 12 men on the field for
Loss
the
of
Grizzlies
down
right
and
now,
fired.
Larry.
and
and
there's
there's
the
the
penalty
flag.
flag. Well, fortunately, it isn't going to make that much of a difference because it's going to bring up a 4th and 15 rather than 4th and 20. But it's not the kind of thing that you want to see when you're a Wadsworth coach.
So the extra player comes off the field now, and that'll put Green up 5 yards. Again, though, with the punter, Green has what's 5 yards.
You have an assistant coach making $85,000 in Michigan. Count to 12.
Here comes the Wadsworth. Block it. Nope. No,
And
they're
a
beautiful.
spiraling, booming, fair catch
catch.
called by Mako at the
15.
14-yard line. And
Again, I wish I knew where Wadsworth's starting position was on average. They've been on the 20, the 20, and the 15 in this quarter. And the kickoffs have all been into the end zone, so you got to start on the 20. Other than the interception, which really didn't matter where they started on the Green 30, they've been so deep in their own territory it's not even funny. Now we're down to 4:58 to go, and so far Green's done exactly what they want to do here in the second half, which is Wadsworth 3 and out.
4:58 to go in the third quarter. Fake handoff to Mako. A little out pass to Billy Mueller. His first action carrying the ball tonight, and he gets it down to about the 29 of Wadsworth.
So it's a pickup, a 9-yard line.
And a first down.
That was the kind of stuff. So you watch Mueller coming right in your camera, then he cuts up field. But look at the pressure once again on Cochran. Mueller gets it, heads downfield. Those are the kind of things that were working virtually every play for Wadsworth last week against Copley, and tonight it's only happened once or twice.
First and 10 on the 29. 4:50 to go, third quarter. The reverse again. Brink in the
Nobody
backfield.
there.
Doesn't work again for the Grizzlies. And Chad Beck, the linebacker for Green, has been all over the place tonight.
As you
Number
watch it,
40.
Good call, good idea, well scouted by Green. And look, there's just nothing there. There's one player, there's 2 players, and there was nowhere for him to go. So it brings up a second down. Loss of 6 on the play. A loss of 5, so it's going to be second down and 15. And they line up in the I formation, as Wadsworth usually does. Straight drop.
Cochran throws over the middle to
Wide
Mako.
open.
plenty of room, but Green closes in on it and stops him at the 40.
But it is a first down for Wadsworth, and they're doing something positive.
That's that play where the middle of the field is just completely open, and it worked.
Well, Green defenders went deep with the wide receiver, so Mako coming out of the backfield found that open spot behind the linebackers in front of the safeties, and look at how much room he's got to run. But once again, Green closes very quickly as you see the Green players coming over to make the tackle.
That's Dagnan, the outstanding defensive back, making the play there. Doing it on both sides of the ball for the Bulldogs tonight. Quick handoff. This to Mueller.
A flag that's going to be holding on Wadsworth.
Mueller bouncing nicely through the hole and over some players there. But
and that was a nice gain, the kind of thing that Wadsworth has to do, but it's going to be taken back by penalties, and it's an illegal block below the knees on Wadsworth, so they're going to march him back on that one. And it seems like every time that Wadsworth gets something rolling, a penalty or an interception is going to stop them. So they haven't had much luck with this tonight. So it's going to bring up a second down, and I'm guessing from where they're looking at the ball, it's going to be about a 15-yard, second and 15 perhaps. Let's see where they mark it at. So referee walks back. Nope. It's going to be more than that. It's going to bring up a first and about 20 for Wadsworth. So a nice run, went for nothing. And let's see what Wadsworth can do here. So the clock continues to run, 3:25 in the third quarter.
There's the fake, play action. And the throw to Busen. He holds on to it. He's hit hard, but stays with it and takes it down to the 38.5-yard line.
For a pickup of about 5, and though that was a nice call, this is the kind of thing that Green's going to give you all night long. You got a first and 20, they'll give you 5 yards. You watch. Again, there's pressure, though. Watch the Green defender come in. All right, he doesn't get to Cochran, but makes his presence known.
That's Dustin Marshall, the defensive end, 6'1", 220.
And Busen was hit the instant he caught the ball. In fact, he did a good job of hanging on to the ball.
And I don't know what happened there.
Our
there we
picture
go.
is back.
Crossing pattern run by Marshall out of his hands. The 3rd and 12. 2:39 to go in the third quarter.
Just a little slant in by Marshall. Unfortunately, couldn't hang on to the ball. I don't think he'd have picked up the first down, but it would have brought up 3rd and short instead of 3rd and 12. Wadsworth in the eye this time with 2 wide receivers.
Now they're going to flank Cochran in the shotgun. And rolling to the left, being pursued, and throwing it to Marshall, who can't make the catch. Paul Dannemiller, all-league linebacker, chasing down Cochran there.
And Cochran was lucky to get rid of that ball because Dannemiller was coming with the full head of steam and hit Cochran right after he let the ball go. It was a legal hit, but you got to hear those kind of footsteps. And once again, Wadsworth is forced to punt. Green isn't going to get the ball in as good a position perhaps as they had lately, but they're still going to get the ball probably on about their 30-yard line, I would guess, which isn't too bad operating position. Mike Marshall back to punt.
Marshall gets it off.
Another line drive.
And it bounces away from Dagnan. He'll just let it roll, and Andy Krzyzanowski will stop it at the 20. So finally, Green pushed back quite a ways in their own territory.
So the clock is in Green's favor right now, particularly since Wadsworth hasn't been able to move the ball at all. And I have a hunch they're just going to keep doing what they're doing and, in a sense, just work the clock.
2:25 to go in the third. Cundiff, handoff to fullback. Kent, huge hole on the left side of the line, picking up steam. And he gets to midfield, being chased by Krzyzanowski. Closing in on him is Ben Schrock. And they finally make the tackle down at the 20, but what a run by fullback Ray Kent.
That was a 60-yard carry.
Wow.
And
look at the hole here.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the hole of the line.
The guards
right there.
pull.
Look at that. I mean, I could have waddled through that hole.
What a great play.
And, you know, there's some awfully good downfield blocking, too, because Kent is not that speedy a back.
But the line shifted there, Larry, to the left, and that's what opened the hole.
As you can see, the Wadsworth backs caught up with him. Good blocking downfield.
Kent gets it again. So Boy, the bad field position for Green really didn't matter.
No, it didn't.
They turned it into something big. 1:50 to go in the third quarter now, and should Green score here,
Yeah, you'd have to get the feeling that Wadsworth
Needs
is
some
in
big
very,
plays.
very serious trouble. They might be able to give up a field goal, but if Green scores a touchdown, I think Wadsworth is in bad trouble. Of course, Wadsworth, we said that against Medina, so we have to be awfully careful. But so far, Green has stopped everything Wadsworth's tried to do.
there's Kent again, and from behind he's brought down by Luke Busen, of course.
Luke Busen is starting to figure on just about every tackle. He's all over the field. He is having a career night on defense tonight, but unfortunately, the defense has just been on the field too much. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 4 for Green. So this is a very big play for Wadsworth because they're going to kick the field goal on 4th down.
If they don't get the first, right. And 1 minute to go and counting. Green very content to let the clock continue to run with the 10-0 lead. 2 receivers to the left. Hand off McDermott.
Right
through the hole. And it takes the free safety to bring him down inside the 5, a 1st down. And
they're marking the ball on the 4-yard line. As you watch this, what's happening now is the Green offensive line is just opening huge holes. Look at that. There was nobody near him until he got in the defensive secondary. And like I say, when your safeties start making tackles on running plays, you're in serious trouble.
And the thing with the Wadsworth offense, Larry, when they moved Macko from receiver to tailback, and the improved play of the offensive line really turned Wadsworth into a well-balanced machine. We haven't seen that tonight. McDermott falls into the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
He could have gone into the outside, or he could have cut it back to the inside and scored either way. He chose to come back to the inside, and that makes it 16-0 Green with the extra point to come. 27 seconds left in the third quarter, and it's almost at the point now that every possession for Wadsworth is a must-score situation.
And just give a lot of credit to both sides of the ball for the Green Bulldogs
tonight. They are playing
perfect execution.
That's the word, execution. They're playing pretty much a flawless ball game here. I am very impressed with this Green team.
And they're young like the Grizzlies, Larry, so
fake.
It's a fake. They're going to try to run it in. They do, a 2-point conversion.
I'm not sure was that a fake, or was that a planned play, or it just all broke down? A lot of Wadsworth people were coming, and I don't know exactly how
maybe the holder thought, but there you see the score, 18-0. That doesn't help Wadsworth.
No.
But had they, it
might not make much of a difference at this point because, like we said, this Green team is just well-coached, well-disciplined, hard-hitting, and quick to the ball. They're everything you want in a football team.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Larry, they've, like Wadsworth, they only got like a dozen seniors on the roster, and we said back at the beginning of this year, wait till next year for Wadsworth with all their juniors and sophomores that make big impacts for the Grizzlies. Well, we're seeing the same thing here tonight from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I have a hunch that next year this game is going to have the same importance as it did this year. 27 seconds to go in the third quarter as Green kicks off. And you want to put money on it goes in the end zone, John, yes or no?
No.
No. Me neither.
So Wellick marks off his steps, marches toward the tee, and Macko fielded at the 5.
First one they've had a chance to run back tonight.
Finds the blockers, and then he's tackled across the 25-yard line where the Grizzlies will start on a must-score series of plays.
Well, something that happens with a kicker like Wellick, even if he doesn't get it in the end zone like that one was fielded on the 5, it's so deep that you don't get a lot of time to run the ball back, if you understand what I'm saying, because usually kickers will kick it down to the 15, 20-yard line.
And you got your teammates down there
you got
already.
your teammates down there, and you can run it back to the 35, 40-yard line. Not the case with this kid. So with 22 seconds to go, Wadsworth trailing 18-0 is going to have to come up with something here if they want to pull this one out.
Macko comes out of the backfield, catches the screen pass, double pass, halfback pass, and almost intercepted, then picked up by Marshall. And Marshall's going to go into the end zone for a Grizzly touchdown, just what they needed at this point in the game. That halfback pass where Macko stepped out of the backfield, got the screen pass, and then threw it
But
it went
Wadsworth-
off the hands of the Green defenders and into the hands of Mike Marshall for the touchdown.
You can do this if it's a backward pass, and it was. And now here's the pass here. But watch, Green has an eye on the ball, and the two Green defenders both went up. Either could have intercepted it. Marshall behind it just caught it and turned on the burners.
What a job by Marshall to stay with it there. He was watching that ball all the way. That'll bring on Ben Galpert for the extra point. And it's a big one with Green having the 18 points. High snap. Cochran places it down. The kick is good.
Well, all of a sudden in one play and about 14 seconds, Wadsworth has turned this back into a doable situation.
Ben Galpert now 18 of 20 on extra points this season.
Well, I think if nothing else, this sends a message to Green that they're not going to be able to sit on the ball.
That almost blew up, though, Larry, but Grizzlies catch a break.
Wadsworth still has to score 2 touchdowns. Well, a touchdown, a field goal with a 2-point conversion would tie it. So Wadsworth is going to need a couple more scores here. And
7 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Scalper teased the ball to kick off. Only the second kickoff tonight for Galpert. The first one opened the game. Well, you know, a funny thing, even though Wadsworth scored on that, Green had it defended very well, but the two defensive backs ran into each other trying to intercept the ball.
Squib kick, fielded by an up man at the 22. Whistle
He
blows.
put his knee down when he fielded the ball.
Good eye by the ref there, number 40. That is Chad Beck.
And the Green fans are very unhappy with that. They thought he fielded the ball cleanly. Of course, in high school ball, anytime you put your knee down, whether it's by contact or not by contact, the play is over. I didn't see whether he had his knee down or not. I'll trust the referees on that. But Wadsworth manages to get the ball down to the 22-yard line of Green, which is where they're going to start. And this will be the last play of the third quarter.
4 seconds to go.
4 seconds to go.
Cundiff hands to McDermott. He finds a hole, and Josh McInturf wrestles him down at the 30. That's the end of the third quarter with the Bulldogs leading at 18-7.
And it was a pickup of 7 yards on the play. A nice pickup by.
Oh, while we're at it, Larry, let's look at Wadsworth's schedule. We're going to be heading to a couple of away games the next couple of weeks with Cloverleaf and then Revere.
Okay, Cloverleaf next week. We'll be playing at Cloverleaf. And, John, I said before, with the weather we've been having, you don't know what's going to happen out there. I kind of envision a volcano erupting out of a cornfield outside the stadium, or perhaps an avalanche or a tsunami. We haven't seen any of those. After that, Wadsworth goes up and plays Revere at Revere, and then finally they come back home to play Highland
to close out the regular
and
season.
Green. They go, Norton at Green.
There you see the results.
Okay. That's where we are so far.
And then you can bring up the Green schedule if you'd like.
Cloverleaf at Revere.
As
and
Green,
Highland.
their only loss was the season opener to North Canton, 13-3.
And if we don't have that on our screen, Norton will be playing at Green, which might be a decent game. Then they go to Cloverleaf, and then they play Revere. So there you see there at Wadsworth. Then Norton at home, go out to Cloverleaf where the volcano is going to erupt, and then they play Revere at home. So you don't see anything there to indicate that Green is not going to go 9-1 if they win tonight. And on the other hand, you can see Wadsworth going 8-2 if they win tonight. I've got the stats. First chance I'll give you what the
9-1 if they win tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 9-1 is Green powers for. Wadsworth powers for it.
And when we get a chance, let's.
Okay, here's the stats. Wadsworth only has 3 first downs, 2 turnovers, 5 penalties for 45 yards. The big play, the 74-yard completion on the double pass, accounted for more than all the rest of the Wadsworth yardage put together. Wadsworth is minus 19 yards rushing and 150 yards through the air. Busen 4 rushes for 11 yards. Macco to Mike Marshall, 74 yards was the leading play. the touchdown pass. Green, on the other hand, 12 first downs, 4 penalties for 30 yards. They have 251 yards. And you take away that one play, the pass play, the double pass, the yardage would have been 251 to 66 at the end of the third quarter. Rushing 207 yards, passing 44. Leading rusher, Kent, 12 carries, 99 yards. McDermott, 15 for 77.
And that was due to Kent's big 60-yarder there.
The big 60-yarder was the one that made all the difference. Now, what's going on here is that I think the yard marker was spotted at the wrong place. And there is a lot of confusion. It was supposed to be a 3rd down and 3, but they marked the ball way back, or the chains were in the wrong place.
Now they're saying first down.
And now they're saying first down because the yard, well, what happened basically was I think the referee set up the sideline markers like 5 yards deeper than they should have. And so the play stands. So nothing happened on the field, but off the field, the yard line markers were wrong.
Green going to keep it on the ground the rest of the game and let the clock run down as McDermott gets nowhere on that play. If we get a chance, let's look at the Papa John's trivia question for tonight.
Yeah, we haven't done that tonight, have we?
Thanks to Papa John's. Give them a call, 334-4949 here in Wadsworth. Paul Macko, Larry, coming into tonight, is averaging 8.9 yards per carry this season. That'll change after tonight, of course.
Yes, it will.
Whose record would he break for yards per carry in a season should he stay on his current pace, which, as I just mentioned, he won't after tonight's ball game. And we'll come back to that when we get a chance as McDermott. So we're looking for who holds the record for yards per carry in a season.
Well, you know, that's kind of a strange one because, you know, you get in these weird situations like, well, I'll tell you a story about this after. But I'm going to say Herbert, Dan Herbert, a few years back. I think in his senior year, I remember the line opening holes like that. No,
there it
Denny
is.
Beam.
Denny Beam,
Lord, that's a long time ago.
7.7 yards per carry, 1967.
But
thanks, Papa John's. McDermott again to midfield, and he's brought down by Himmelwright and Billy Mueller.
To tell you the story, Ron Jones, former principal, assistant superintendent of the Wadsworth schools, had 3 kids playing football. Bobby, of course, is playing in the pros, but I think it was son Mike went to Villanova. And as a freshman, they put him in on a 1st and 10 on the Villanova 1-yard line, handed him the ball. He broke through and ran for 99 yards, okay? I'll finish the story after this play is over.
Handoff to Kent. He just
Oh, my.
plows behind number 67, Doug Stevens, a guard for the Bulldogs, and he picked up a pile.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was the only time he carried the ball all year because it was his freshman year. So he averaged 99 yards per carry, and he had the longest gain from the line of scrimmage in Villanova history, and he only carried the ball once. So when you get those averages, it gets a little bit,
right,
weird. But congratulations to Denny Beam. And
Macko was averaging 8.9 yards per carry, Larry, coming into tonight, but we haven't seen much rushing from Paul Macko tonight.
No, we haven't seen, except for that one pass play, much offense for Wadsworth at all.
9 minutes to go in the ball game.
I'll tell you, I think the Wadsworth team, the defense is starting to look a little bit tired. They've been on the field so much, and what you're seeing happening now is the Green offensive line is just starting to open up holes in the Wadsworth line. I don't think Green's going to do anything fancy the rest of the game. I don't see why they should. Just hand the ball up the middle and let the clock run out. There you go.
That's what they'll do. McDermott, he's tripped up by Will Ling.
Nice tackle by Ling, reaching in, just grabbed him by the ankle.
Down to the 36-yard line.
But, of course, Wadsworth's biggest foe is the clock, down to 8:34. And remember, Wadsworth has to score twice, not just once. And the way they're moving now, they're getting in field goal range already of Wallach. And if he puts another one on the board, Wadsworth would have to score 2 touchdowns. They couldn't do it, the touchdown, 2-point conversion, and a field goal right at the tie.
In motion.
Yeah, that was it's a motion penalty against Green. What happened is the player in motion running across the field turned upfield before the ball was snapped. So that'll be 5 yards against Green. You know, it's a funny thing. Those are the kind of penalties as a green coach you don't want to see. That's the last thing in the world you need. I mean, that kid had already done his job by shifting the linebackers around. He wasn't going to get the ball, and just
plus it stops the clock.
Stops the clock. So that's the kind of penalty that a coach can't be happy about. So you see the penalty, motion penalty on green. Now the clock gets wound up again. And I'll tell you, green shouldn't be in any hurry to snap the ball now. They're picking up the flag. Timeout, referee's timeout. I don't know what that's for.
Well,
usually when you see a referee's timeout, somebody's having an equipment problem and they don't want to have the team charged for the timeout. Now the referee winds up the clock again. The screen comes out of the huddle. It'll be a 2nd down and 14 after that 5-yard penalty.
Ball on the 42. 7 minutes, 50 seconds remain in the ball game. Pressure coming.
I'm surprised at this.
Throws to a wide open receiver at the 35-yard line down to the 25.
Kent, the fullback, was the one that made that reception, and I got to say that was a great call by the green coaching staff. You don't expect this type of stuff. You expect a handoff right there, but when he rolls, there's no Wadsworth defense, no pressure. The fullback out of the backfield catches the ball, and notice this, he doesn't go out of bounds, which he clearly could have. He's pretty much against the sideline, but just takes it downfield for all he can to keep the clock running. So it's a 1st and 10 on the 25, 7:31 to go.
McDermott down to the 23.
And once again, the weather has cleared up. It's actually a very pleasant night. It isn't, if you're in the booth like we are, it is pleasant. You're not getting rained on. If you're out getting rained on and wind blown, it's a little bit different story.
7:10 now remaining. Clock continues to run.
And as you can see in the huddle there, green is in no hurry. Just coming out of the huddle.
They're marching downfield, though, and looking to close this one out with a score here.
A score here, and it would be all over.
Bill Cundiff hands to McDermott, who just slips and falls right at the line of scrimmage.
So that's going to bring up a 3rd down and probably 7. I think he fell right at the line of scrimmage. Again, nobody from Wadsworth touched him. His feet just went out from under him as he tried to make a little cut. Actually, he lost a yard, so it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 8. And here's an interesting call. You know you're in field goal range. You're pretty much doing what you want. What are you going to do on this play? Do you just hand it off up the middle, set it up for a good field goal, or do you try for it all? We'll see what the green coaches choose to do.
McDermott gets it, and he won't get the first, but they've got Mr. Automatic to come in and kick it.
It's down on about the 18-yard line, which would mean to be a 35-yard field goal. And for somebody that kicks them from 45, this shouldn't be too much trouble. If Green's going to go for a field goal, yeah.
Wellick was standing there with Coach McVicker waiting for the okay, and he gave it. And Wellick marches out.
You know, if I ever played football, I think that's what I want to be as a field goal kicker. You just run in, kick the ball, and then just run right back off
again.
Little
superstition there from Andrew Wellick. He takes the tee and holds it up and aims it with the uprights of the goalpost as he kicks that one knuckleball style through. 21-7 Green leads with 5:21 to go in the game.
So now Wadsworth has to score twice in the last 5 minutes. And so, but the clock is still running.
Clock's running. Hey!
Clock continues to run. Nobody shut off the clock.
Clock's been running.
So the clock ran down an extra 8 seconds off the clock. One of the Wadsworth coaches yelling, "Hey, we're at home."
It was 5:21, Larry. They lost 11 seconds.
So they're going to have to put more time back on the clock.
The referees aren't saying anything.
When they score.
And let's see if Mr. Wellick puts the ball in the end zone this time. Back deep for Wadsworth, number 28, number 24. That's Himmelwright and Macco, as usual.
Now they've got a 5:19 on the...
5:21. We wrote it down.
So... It's a squib kick.
Decides to keep that one a low liner. And it goes back to Himmelwright and gets by him. Then he picks it up and comes up the middle of the field to about the 16.
You know, I'm surprised they did that with the way he can kick the ball into the end zone. And he kicks them so high that the green defenders can get back there by the time the ball's caught. It's interesting that you would try a play like that. But it worked. There you got the ball on the 15. So Wadsworth takes over on the 15, 16-yard line. They're spotting it actually. 5:14 to go, and Wadsworth needs 2 scores. And looking down the side of the field, something I don't like to see, Tim Schwartz is on crutches on the side there.
Yeah, we'll see if
he's got an ice bag on his left ankle.
To Brink, and
out of bounds.
Into the Wadsworth bench. Yeah, senior tackle Tim Schwartz, number 56, 5'10", 263, just a stalwart on the Grizzly line.
Well, if you remember, he came out of the game when he and Cochran both went down. It was in the first quarter, I believe, and they were working on both of them. Cochran kind of shook it off and came back in, but Schwartz was helped off the field and hasn't been back in since. 2nd down and 10 for Wadsworth.
Grizzlies going to have to keep throwing it, and across the middle, Marshall makes the catch at the 35 down to the 37. 5:03 to go.
So Wadsworth is making some stuff work now as you watch the fakes, and a little bit of time for Cochran, and there's Mike Marshall. But I think one thing that you have to realize is right now is that the green defensive backs are playing way back. They're giving them the underneath stuff, and I'm looking at them now. They're playing maybe a yard, 2 yards back further than they would, and when the ball snapped and they see a pass, they'll drop automatically. Quick pop.
Again, a slant pattern run by Marshall. It was out of his hands and almost intercepted by Alan Dagnan.
And I think both players are unhappy that they didn't catch the ball. As you watch this, there goes the ball. Marshall right there out of his hands, and Dagnan manages to bat it around a couple times.
He was just falling the opposite way.
Falling the wrong way, or the ball would have fallen right into his lap. So it brings up a 2nd and 10 for Wadsworth.
4:42 remains. Brink in motion this time for the Grizzly offense. Fake handoff play action again. Out to Marshall again, right at the 1st down marker.
I think he got it. I think they're going to give him a 1st down. Yep, they give him a 1st down.
That's just the 5th 1st down of the night for the Grizzlies. And I mentioned, as you watch the replay on the 1st down catch by Marshall, last week, Green held Talmadge to just 7 1st downs the entire game. Wadsworth with just 5 here tonight.
The Green defense is quite impressive. But Wadsworth has got something going here. The trouble is they only got 4:29 on the clock.
Low snap, Cochran rolling, in trouble, gets rid of it, and incomplete. But Green defense also right at the average opponent's score of 7.
Once again, Cochran had a lot of pressure on him as he was coming. It's funny. It seems like no matter what blocking scheme the Wadsworth coaches put in or who they keep in the backfield to help, that they're always getting pressure on Cochran, particularly when he's rolling out. That Green defense, they just got lots and lots of weapons, and they just keep coming and coming and coming.
Cochran in the pocket. Pass is batted down by the line of the Bulldogs. 3rd and 10.
Pretty much what we were talking about before. That time he dropped straight back. The pressure came up the middle, and somebody, I couldn't catch the number. In fact, we can't even read the numbers now on the Green players. Just put a big mitt up there and knocked the ball down. So it's going to be 3rd and 10 for Wadsworth on the 47-yard line. Shotgun. Low snap, but
here he comes. Cochran gets drilled as he throws, incomplete.
And Cochran just doesn't have any time to throw. Wadsworth is just not picking up the blitzes, and it's a different person every time. Cochran has taken a real beating tonight.
All-league linebacker again, Paul Dannemiller on the hit on Cochran there.
And it's going to be 4th down for Wadsworth, and what are they going to do? Statistician John Gramuglia, who hands us his stats, says that
he waves at you too a lot.
Hi, John. Cochran has 4 sacks and had 5 hurries, and Wadsworth is going for it on 4th and 10. And this is going to be the ball game if they don't make it.
And they don't. And Cochran got hit again.
So I would say for all practical purposes, this game is over. as Green takes over on the Wadsworth 48-yard line. And the way things are going to look, yeah, the way. So the way it looks like is Green is going to go to 4-0 and be in a sole possession of first place in the Suburban League. Wadsworth goes to 3-1, and something very strange is going to have to happen for Wadsworth to share a Suburban title with the Green Bulldogs.
There's a run up the middle. Well, while this game's winding down with 4 minutes, we haven't looked at the computer points, Larry, which are going to greatly shift after tonight's ball games. But this is where the teams in Division I, Region 2 stand before tonight's games. Of course, Wadsworth sitting at number 3 will drop with the loss.
Yeah.
As it's 2nd and 10.
We'll watch the play and then we'll talk about it.
And it's a running play by McDermott.
Just kind of tiptoeing down the line. He doesn't want to go out of bounds, and the refs stop it, and the clock keeps running. And there's some extracurriculars down there. I don't know if a flag was thrown or not. But Wadsworth was third in their region. If you take a look at that, Brunswick and Findlay are pretty much locks for the playoff. There's Wadsworth next. If Wadsworth had won tonight, they were almost certainly in the playoffs. But losing tonight, they're going to go to a 5-2 record with 3 games to go. I did some research. Last year in Division I, teams that were 10-0, there were 6 of them. They all made the playoffs. Teams that were 9-1, there were 11 of them. 10 made the playoffs. But when you got down to 8-2, 17 teams were 8-2. 8 made the playoffs, and 9 didn't. So what's going to happen with this loss, I think the best that Wadsworth can hope for is to get a little help from their friends, namely Barberton and Medina. They have to win out and then just hope that they can sneak in like maybe the number 7 or the number 8 spot in the region.
And
Green, on the other hand,
they're a lock.
They're a lock. I mean, they're going to the playoffs. That's
and
for
who
sure.
do they have left? Norton, Cloverleaf, Revere.
Not
so
only are they going to the
even
playoffs,
they lose one of those
Yeah.
games by a miracle, which they probably won't. So they're number 3 coming into tonight. They should move up to 2 or 1 after a win over
and not
Wadsworth.
only that, they're almost a lock for a home field for the first game. They'll finish in the top 4.
There's McDermott again.
Oh, my. Nice
hole.
moves. But again, though it was a nice run, none of this really matters. The only thing that matters is that
There's 2.5 minutes
yeah, the
to
yellow
go in the
thing
game.
in the middle of the scoreboard that says 2:31. That's the whole picture right there. And don't forget, next week, as we indicated, we'll be at Cloverleaf. Hope you folks can go on out there. And maybe next week we won't have to play in a tornado or something of that ilk. And a week after that, at Revere. And finally, the last game, home against Highland. So keep those one in mind as time goes on. And also the Sarahsville-Shenandoah Fighting Zeppelins, who are well in the playoff hunt.
Cundiff just going to run around with it and let the clock continue to run. So
That
I
was
have to see if Green doesn't soon go into the genuflect formation.
I think they need another first down before they can do that. I think that was a busted play. You don't want to see your sophomore star quarterback running around with the ball. And I think he just missed a handoff, tiptoed around a bit, and then just kind of went down because he wasn't hit very hard. But it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 9.
So not a very happy homecoming weekend is it going to be here at Wadsworth High.
Nope, afraid not. This isn't what you want to happen for a homecoming. Again, Green needs a first down before they can start taking knees.
And there it is.
And then a little more.
Yeah, inside the 5, Ray Kent, who has just had a explosive game for the Bulldogs tonight. He's my MVP for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you'd have to say so.
And
it's going to be interesting to see what Green does here. They can score, or
like
they can
Wadsworth took the knee,
yeah, Wadsworth
remember?
took the knee against Talmadge. Green doesn't have to score here. I know they'd like to, but when Wadsworth
totally
was in a
unnecessary.
similar position with Talmadge, Coach Greg Dennison just had the quarterback take a knee. And
here's the genuflect, Larry.
Let's see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, my.
That's Billy Mueller nailing Cundiff as he went down to the knee. That's just frustration there.
Yeah, well, I got to say one thing. What Cundiff did that kind of led to that, rather than taking a knee,
right away, he
crouched down and started backing up, and that's what brought Mueller. And in a way, you understand where Mueller's coming from, but it wasn't not a particularly good play.
And Cundiff saw Mueller coming, so quickly went down to the knee, but that's going to be, what, a half the distance?
Yeah. And, you know, you might wonder after that if the Green coaches aren't a little annoyed and decide now to score.
Yeah, but
I hope
as
not.
one player made a mistake, I
Yeah.
don't think you rub it in.
So it's only a 2-yard
2-yard
penalty.
penalty. Once again, they're in the take a knee formation with one running back deep in case anything happens. But I have a hunch Cundiff will take the knee a lot quicker this time if he does. Nope, he doesn't. Again, he's not doing anything wrong, but he's asking for extracurricular activities, and but that's the way it goes.
So the Grizzlies will drop to 5-2 overall, 3-1 in the Suburban League. The Green Bulldogs now in first place, all alone. They will be 6-1 and 4-0 in the Suburban League. And for the third year in a row, the Grizzlies get a letdown from playing the Green Bulldogs.
But they still got 3 games to go. They're going to have a fine season no matter what happens. But you just wish this one had turned out a little bit different. And Green doesn't have
They
to
start
snap
to
the ball.
celebrate as the final score will be Green 21, Wadsworth 7. Thanks to the whole WCTV crew tonight. And thanks to Papa John's. Give them a call here in Wadsworth, 334-4949. That's Papa John's Pizza. As the Grizzlies fall in a big ball game tonight. And the Green Bulldogs now are the Suburban League leaders and look well to be on their way to another Suburban League championship. So for the whole WCTV crew, we'll see you from Cloverleaf next week. I'm John Bernard. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.